Hi there. So I kind of did a post earlier that didn't exactly go the way. Not that these ever go, like, not that I even have a way that I think they're gonna go, that I think they should go, but I didn't quite get across the point and I was too distracted and the video just didn't make any sense. So I erased it, or I deleted it, or sent it to trash, or whatever it is that you do on Facebook. And I'm just letting you know that because I don't usually do that with the videos. I usually just let them be. Because that's real life, right? We're practicing what? Radical authenticity. Yes, okay. So what I did want to put across is this. So I was talking about a bit about my friend and client, who went through a really rough, really rough time is like the most ridiculous understatement ever. But we're writing her book on how she kept her husband alive for 10 years after his terminal diagnosis, and he passed away a year and a half ago. And I've known her this whole time, and for like 2 years now, and maybe 2.5. I don't remember. Probably 2.5, 2, something like that. Doesn't really matter. But seeing her, I talked to her after not seeing her for a while the other day, and she started a charity, which is fantastic, and the book is going to be part of it, so I'm very excited about that and to be involved in that, and it's something that we're going to really put a lot of effort and love into. I just think that when we lose something that we put a lot of our time, our love, our energy into, we need to find something to replace it. And I can say that, I can say that being peace, right? Being yourself, being present, should make you happy and whatever. But the truth is, let's get down to brass tacks. Unless you're a guru, you're not perfect, and you're not gonna be like, oh yes, I'm totally fine right here, right now. Maybe you don't have to be a guru, but you have to be a little bit. Doesn't matter. We're just gonna go with reality as it is today. So I think you have to find something and do it proactively to fill that space. And it has to be something that you love. So I'm hoping that this charity is going to be that for her. But what I wanted to say in taking that and applying it to the rest of us is that, we have to be active in finding our peace. That means actively looking for the things that are going to make you happy. And I say that, it's like, go back and forth. It's like, well, yeah, you shouldn't have to wait for everything to be perfect outside for you to be happy. And you can't. If you do, you'll never be happy. Because nothing will ever be perfect. Hello. You do need I think you need things to focus on. And yes, supposedly as you get closer to, or you get into, okay, slow. Okay. I think as you go through life and there are endings, losses, that yes, definitely always be working on being in the moment or being in the moment, but there has to be something more, right? There has to be something to make it happen, whether it's not going to be perfect, whatever it is. But I guess I'm just saying that peace doesn't just happen. Chaos is the order of the day these days in general. But you have to actually take steps rather than just think about the things that you've missed and that are going wrong. You have to look for, I hate speaking for you, I'm going to speak for myself, and that is, like I can go back to, you know, my last big loss, which was, I mean, which was my last ex-boyfriend, right? So that was like a couple years ago. We broke up. It was very painful, and for a very long time, if you had said to me like, replace that, I'd be like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Because like, fuck it, right? So you can't really say that to somebody. You can't really expect it of yourself. I don't know. I guess I'm babbling a little bit, and I guess you have to do it in your own time. You have to do it in your own time, but don't expect it to just happen. You know, I've let life happen to me a lot in life instead of, you know, having agency. You know, I was good with agency and doing everything that I wanted to do, making things happen, up until a certain point, you know, when I sabotaged the hell out of myself, and I realized that no matter what the external circumstances were, I couldn't move forward because I was fucking myself up. And then I kind of turned, and I just started believing that I didn't have the ability to do anything. And I got really complacent because it's just like, well, and, you know, I never had in my head like it was over. This is my life. Like, I always in my head was like, it will be different one day. But if you say that, it's always going to be one day. It's not going to be the day today, right? So you got to work for it, and that's something I kind of, and part of that, I believe, is visualizing what it is you're working for. And granted, you can't predict what's going to happen, and you can only, these are the visions that I have, but you know what, whatever comes is what comes, and that's the reality, and it's what's supposed to be. But having a vision, having something to work towards, really helps. You know, I've mentioned a couple of times lately that I have, started daydreaming again. Daydreaming about my future. So rather than being worried about the future and that causing anxiety, which happens, or ruminating in the past and that causing anxiety, which happens, depression and anxiety, both ways. Rather than that, I look forward to the future and take the steps in the now to get there. The key is to believe you can get there and to see the path. See, I keep contradicting myself, because really in life, you know, it is true that you don't have to know where you're headed. You just have to take the next step, right? So what's that phrase? Like, I don't remember. But you can be traveling and you know kind of where you're going, but you don't have to know the entire way. You just have to know the next step, right? So I know what my next steps are, and that really is motivating me. And that is giving me more peace. And I mean, it's a self-esteem thing too, right? Like, believing I can do things. It's taken a while for me to get to the place where I believe that I can do things. Like, I'm still really like I'm feeling overwhelmed, but I'm realizing that I need to deal with that. It's only been a few years. It's only been a decade and a half, you know, like, I need to deal with I need to deal with that. Okay. You know, I am looking at things. It's scary. Like, I'm scared. I'm really scared. Because there's a lot going on and a lot coming at me, and I doubt my ability to handle it. I really just doesn't want to handle it, right? You know what I mean? Like, just, it's like, it's going to be too hard. I want to give up my hand, like, throw up my hands and like go home. But what will that end up in? More of this. That does not work for me. It does not work for me. Like, the idea but so now I've got this kind of path, in a couple of different places, you know, with the company. I've finished a couple of the books. Like, there's still a couple more that are on the that are still on the table that from before. 2 of them are pretty much done. I just have to look over them. Well, one of them I just think I have to look over the, oh, okay, so one step at a time. There are, if I start listing them right now, it'll be a little scary for me, but there are, like, one book is almost done. I have to look at it, but it's at least going to get us some money when we give it to her, the client, for the first draft as soon as possible. And that's really important. Then there's a book that is pretty much done, and I don't even think I really need to look at it, but I'm going to look at it. And then there's another book that is done, but I know that I need to do some work on it. Then there's Cheryl's book, who's someone I've been working with for a while, and haven't really, it's been delayed. Let's just put it that way. And then there's another guy's book that I haven't started either. You know, but a lot of them are done, and that's something I can look at and be proud of, or at least celebrate that I did it, that it's over, that it's over. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta look at the wins, is basically what I'm trying to say. You gotta look at the wins. I gotta look at again, I don't mean to talk for you. I mean to talk to you about me in hopes that it helps you. So, I am working on looking at the wins rather than focusing on everything else that still needs to get done. Like, oh, okay, well, that, and that got done. Yeah, I have all this stuff here, and it will get done. It might not be done I like things to be done now. It's a thing. But I'm learning to have patience. That's not a lie. It's not. I am slowly, why can't I learn how to have patience right now? But so, yes, and we are talking about peace. So rather than looking at the things that are freaking me out, I don't suppress it. This is what I'm working on, because there's a difference between suppression and allowing it to be. And I know that it's a big difference, but at the same time, it's like, what am I doing right now? Am I just trying to get it away from me, or am I allowing myself to feel it and just move on with the rest of my life? I'm working on that. I think it's a half and half kind of thing. Like, I can feel this energy right now. Like, it's emotional energy coming through up, and it's kind of like, ugh. It's an excited energy that could very easily turn into anxiety. But it's not going to, because I'm happy and I'm looking at all I've accomplished. So, point is, you gotta be proactive in finding your peace, and that is the point of the Be-In that I will be doing very soon. Which is, the idea is, peace isn't gonna happen. It's not going to just happen. All the shit that's going on, nothing's going to stop that if we don't stop it. And the way you stop something is not by fighting it. I'll say that, you're going to hear me say this again and again, right? You can't fight hate with hate. You can't fight fear with fear. You can only fight. You can only overcome hate with love, right? And you can only overcome fear with knowledge. So that's what we have to choose, rather than reacting the way we have is for, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years. We have to choose to react differently. And that is what this whole video thing I'm doing is about, choosing to react differently. And I really want to, I'm interested, it's interesting, I just put this together, but that's what I want to do on a greater scale as well. Like with the Be-In, I want to put that out there, you can react differently. You can think differently, and that's what's going to help move the world forwards. I want to do my part from that. Anyway, I'm getting a little off the subject. Point is, for the 50th time, you gotta work for it. You gotta figure out what's gonna make you what's gonna make you happy, but like what it is that you just have to be proactive in your search for peace, right? Like whatever it is, and you have to. Speaking for you again, I find that that I have to be proactive in peace and finding the peace, because otherwise it doesn't get found. It's not just gonna lying around that you're gonna stumble over it. You really, that's not how it happens. You gotta work on it. And people think peace is so passive and love is so passive, and it's like, no, you gotta work for that as much as you work for the, other stuff. I mean, peace and love and harmony and shit, they're harder than the crap that's going on. They're harder than fear, because you have to, at the same time though, love, it feels so much better. So once people start realizing that, maybe there'll be like a little snowball effect. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know, but I'm excited about it. And that's where I'm finding my peace. Ba-dum-ching! Not that it wasn't a joke. It was really more of a mic drop moment, right? Like, I don't know. So I'm getting a little hyper. So I'm going to go meditate and go to bed. Yeah, I'm getting a little anxious. It's fine. So, all right, let's talk about that. Proactively trying to find my peace, right? Not trying, proactively finding my peace. I get anxious. Sometimes for no reason. A lot of times it comes from a random thought in my head that, it's just, I'll think of something that happened like 25 years ago with someone who definitely doesn't remember it, or just on my own, you know what I mean? Like something that happened on my own, where this is something I figured out today. I keep thinking back, and I think people are judging me, but I realize it's me judging me. And in these moments that I think back to, that I've kind of stored my samskaras, they get me. And I get like a wave of anxiety that like cripples my whole, like crunches my whole body together. And like, I realize when that's happening, it's like, okay. So what I do in those moments, because one thought at a time. I'm feeling a lot of anxiety. So here's the thing. I'm not going to fight that. I am going to allow it to be, because I realize it's just a feeling. And again, I know I say this a lot, but like watching the feeling, observing the feeling, it's when it's a strong feeling, or even when it's a hard one, it's hard not to get lost in it. It's a bad information. It's easy to get lost in it. Let's put it that way. It's easy to identify with it and think it's who you are and what your life is, but that's not the case. I can have these feelings of anxiety. Take a deep, slow breath. Think about the happy things, like I'm done with Corey's book. That's great. So the thing is, for me, I'll have a thought, oh, that's great. But then like there'll be 10 thoughts attached to that are like, that send me down another spiral. And I'm working on that. I know that the answer is to be in the moment. That's the answer. And a lot of the times I run away from the moment. You might do this too. I don't want to feel what it is that I'm feeling. So, I suppress it or ignore it. And it just stays, right? Because if you don't allow yourself to feel it, it just hangs out. It's like, well, I'm here. Whether you want to acknowledge me or not, I'm here. And until you deal with me, I will be here. You know what I mean? So that's me being, I'm the emotion. That was me being the emotion, saying to me that, you got that, you got that. Yeah, I'm getting like, I'm going to have to do some meditating tonight. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do right now, actually. So I'm grateful for meditation. I'm grateful for the opportunity to come to you over Facebook and relax, Jen. Just relax. I'm grateful for the ability to relax. Or at least my attempts to. So I'm going to just remind you all, if I can breathe deep and relax throughout the anxiety and appreciate that which I have and that which I have accomplished, then you too can always choose to have a grateful night.